What is going on, everybody? I definitely hit the wrong button there. So you got a little piece of our intro that we're going to be playing here in a second. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you guys have had a great weekend. Mine was filled with we had great weather. The kids were going crazy, wanting to play wiffle ball. I caught a cramp in my hamstring. It's probably from being so damn old. Not a big deal, though. I hope you guys have had a wonderful weekend, though. A lot of stuff going on around the world right now. Some scary stuff. So, tonight's show is going to be a little bit different. It's kind of piggybacking off of what we did last week as well, except we got a special guest tonight. And we'll get into that here in a second. But I think it's important to talk to our younger generation, things that we wish that we would have known ahead of time, right? So if you guys are in here, make sure you guys are sharing the stream. This one is really important. Every episode is important, I think, but with everything the way it's going right now, I think this one is extremely important because you never know who might be watching, whether it be a veteran or somebody actually thinking about joining or somebody that may be currently in. I think we can touch base with all three of them tonight. We got a really special one for you guys. Make sure you share this stream. Make sure you invite people to like it. I think we're doing really good things here on the channel, and I'm excited to see what's going to come next. So, let's get into the show, guys. Absolutely love the intro. Love it, love it, love it. See some new faces in here. Actually, quite a... Dale brought me here. Hey, welcome to our family. I hope you guys stick around. We got a really good show for you guys, every Sunday. And I like to tell you guys what those people that are new here, kind of a little bit about Operation Intel, veteran stories, and the thought process behind the rally point. So it started with me just kind of feeling like the rest of us, right? I think that when you're so used to that brotherhood and people that understand you and stuff like that, I think that when you're so used to that and then all of a sudden you don't have it, I think it tends to have us isolate a lot and not talk about our problems. And I think there's nothing worse for us than what we've done for the last 20 years. If you're a combat veteran, you kind of understand what I'm talking about. But I had went through a really rough time in my life. I had lost my aunt, who was like a mom to me. I lost my dad. I was going through a divorce, and I just found myself depressed, right? And I just had a conversation with my 11-year-old daughter, and I laugh at that every time because oftentimes you think, an 11-year-old, what does she know, right? And I asked her, I said, do you think people would want to hear from veterans? And she said, yeah. So I started doing veteran interviews with these combat veterans who, asking about the times that they remember when they were deployed and then the struggles that they've had afterwards, right? And I did quite a few of those, and I started to see a difference in the guys that I'm interviewing, and we started a group chat, and every single day there's a conversation going on in there, and that conversation has not stopped since August. So we're almost out a year solid doing this. I'm really proud of it. But through those combat veteran interviews, what I did was I started a live show every Sunday night at 9 o'clock where we go over last week's stuff and things like that. And then we just started to grow, and we're currently in the 22 nonprofits in 22 days. Kind of had a setback on that, but we're still working on it. So we're trying to build the best community we possibly can. People that are there to support each other and support our veterans. Not only support our veterans, but support the active duty guys right now and leave them something better than what we had. Because let's be honest with each other, you know, the Vietnam vets made sure that we didn't get spit on like what they did when they got back. I think we owe it to the next generation to do something for them. And to me, there's nothing better than telling them, hey, it's okay to say you have issues. It's okay to talk about it, because for 20 years, we've been going through this, losing 22 a day. I don't want that anymore, and I want it to end. So I think through conversations and having those hard conversations, I think we can do a lot of help and a lot of good with that. So that's just a little bit of a background on who we are. We're trying to make a difference, and the community here is absolutely amazing. Without the community that we have, this channel would be nothing. So tonight's going to be really good, guys. Like I said, if you just joined, we have somebody that that leaves for a basic training in September, and we've all been lied to by a recruiter before. So we want to answer some of his questions and then talk a little bit about what's going on over in Iran and stuff like that. I think that's an important topic, and you know, I'm not going to hide from it. I want to, you know, have that hard conversation, because I think we owe it to the next generation, the guys currently serving. Another topic we're going to go over tonight is something that, yeah, I've asked myself, and if you're a combat veteran, you've had to have asked yourself this question: was it worth it? And to me, I think it's all about perspective, right? So I'm going to bring on the guest for tonight. I hope you guys are ready for a good show. Thanks for being here tonight, guys. I really do appreciate it. I love doing this every Sunday night with you guys. So yeah, and if you see my sweater, by the way, because Lion is one of the guests tonight, and he's seen my sweater, said girl, it says girl dad on it. Okay. I'm proud of it. My friend Jesse Fox got that for me. So here is, give me 1 second. Let me get them off of mute. How are we doing tonight, gentlemen?
Hello.
Doing good. I wanted to add, though, definitely added the dad part to his hoodie.
I did not. Look at that. Dad.
See?
I also want to throw in a comment that I don't get cramps when I try to play football with kids, and I am definitely older than you.
Man, so, I got one hell of a Charlie horse in the back of my leg.
You probably need to drink more water, buddy. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe take some Tylenol. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I think I'm at the age right now where I should have to take a Tylenol all day for heart health, right? Or is that like a
aspirin? That's an aspirin.
Well, I'm glad you told me. I would have been taking the wrong damn thing. Up there at the top, we got Stanford and Sons. I mean, the Perkins, we got him. In the middle there, we got Lion, Chris Lyon. And then at the bottom, we have the robot himself, Michael Farrell. The person you guys do not notice up there, that is Camden. And Camden decided to join the military. He's 17 years old. And he leaves in September. Now, I think it was Perkins actually asked me this. He was like, well, would you like to have somebody on that just joined? Absolutely. I think it's great, because you're going to have this foundation with you wherever you go, because you got, you know, enlisted guys. You got somebody almost at the top of the food chain there in the middle, even though he doesn't look like it. He was a first sergeant, and he just left, what, a year and a half ago, you said, Lion?
Yeah, I'm about a year and a half in. This September will be 2 years that I've been retired.
Yeah. So you got some really good people here to give you some advice and stuff. I think one of the main things that I would tell you is this, is that, we all, a lot of the times we look at, and it kind of ties into kind of what we're going to be talking about later and my answer to that. And one of the best things about the military, if not the best thing, is the brotherhood. And the advice that I would give to you, never lose connection with the people that you go there with. Because once you do that, life's a lot harder, in my opinion. And we are a walking testament to that. Life was a lot harder back in last year in July than it is right now because of the guys you're currently seeing and the people in the chat right now. So that would be my piece of advice for you. One of my pieces of advice. What would you three, and I'll start at the top and I'll work my way down. Perkins, what is something, and I know he is your nephew, but for those people out there that may be listening that are thinking about joining or have already joined and they need some advice about what's going on in the world today, what would that piece of advice be coming from somebody that has seen combat?
So first off, before anybody crazy says anything, because I know how people are, he's not my biological nephew. I pretty much adopted him. I've known him since he was 11 years old. But piece of advice, it's there's a lot. Honestly, going into it, when we joined, we were definitely in the height of, when I joined, it was definitely the height of war. I joined 2006. So when I joined, I was expecting to go overseas. A lot of people now, obviously, you're joining the military. It's a reality, but a lot of people don't, like we were speaking earlier, Tim, they know it's going to happen, but like any high risk job, you don't think about it until it occurs.
Yeah.
So even if you enlist, you're like, hey, I'm going to serve my country, blah, blah, blah. I'm getting job skills. I'm going to get free college, blah, blah, blah. It's not about that. You have to have the mentality of, hey, this is a high possibility of what's going to happen, So don't go in it thinking that it's not something that's going to happen to you. Now, granted, there's people that's been in 10, 15, almost 20 years and never deployed. But it's a roll of dice. It's a gamble. And by going into the military, it's a high possibility, especially with today's society and the way things are going. You have to prepare yourself mentally. You have to prepare yourself physically. You have to have a network of people that you can communicate with. And, not just about what your job criteria are and stuff like that, but about the way you're feeling, the way it's affecting you. Yeah.
Definitely. And I think you brought up a good point, and that's something that I don't think a lot of people understand. People join the military all the time just to get college for free, right? And now all of a sudden we're in another conflict. So it does make things a little bit tough. Lion, what would you say would be your number one piece of advice besides don't listen to your recruiter?
I did say that earlier, so we all know. But, to be honest with you, I think looking at it, if you're talking about just, as far as a career, 3 things to live by that got me through my career of almost 22 years was be in the right place at the right time in the right uniform, right? If you're doing those 3, you're fine. You're going to make it. When it comes to promotion, as I know, because I was I just chose to stay in the E4 Mafia, as they called it, whatever the hell you want to call it. Yeah, right. I would say that, your career advancement is in your hands. You can advance as far as you want, but you have to take care of you. because nobody's going to look out for your promotions better than you do, right? So when you get to E4 and you make E4, you have I think it's a year now until you can go for E5. Well, at that year, you know go to the board, request I want to go to the board, whatever the case may be. After you get 5, hey, 6 months after that, you can go to the board to become a staff sergeant. Now, what I will tell you is, as you go through those stages in your career, learn and get promoted when you feel you're ready to lead properly, right? Because unfortunately, as we all know, there was the integrated promotion list and you get promoted automatically and all this, that, and the other. And then you unfortunately have leaders that are poor leaders because they've never been in circumstances where they've had to deal with a soldier that he's 19 years old, 17, 18 years old, his mom passed. Well, what the hell do I do? Well, you have no clue. You know what I mean? So take your time getting promoted, but get promoted accordingly, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, and that's some really good advice. I think you're going to get a lot of good advice from everybody here that's going to be a little bit different. But get ready for your brain to be racked right now, because the guy that's getting ready to talk is he'll speak so eloquently, right? What advice would you give, Farrell? In all seriousness, what would you give, or what advice would you give to somebody?
You really hyped me up, man. I don't have my thesaurus open tonight, so we'll see what we can do with it. It's really, with everything that Chris just said, though, in terms of the promotions and everything, is totally spot on. But I think you got to think about why you want to serve, not why you think your neighborhood wants you to serve, or your girlfriend wants you to serve, or your parents. Like, why you want to go and give yourself to your country. And when you think about that, it entails that there is no guarantee of safety, regardless of job, especially now. So whatever your skill set is, you have to learn it. I'm going to go right back to what Chris just said. Learn your job, play with the team, and do on time, right uniform. And where you need to be will literally put you ahead of 75% of the dudes that are there with you. It's my favorite saying, everybody say it with me, it's too easy. Remember? It is. It's too easy to do the right thing. And that's off base also. Behave. Your friends and your battle buddies will not be behaving. They're gonna make shit decisions.
Absolute horrible.
We will all do it. Dude, you will surf down barrack stairs on a cooler lid. It happens. We've all been there.
Or make a slip and slide in the hallway.
Yes. Do it less than the other guys, and you will go far. Absolutely. But you got to think about why you want to serve. That's key, and that's what's going to keep you going through the times when it sucks, and it will suck as part of it.
One of the things that and now looking back on those times that sucked, it was the best time of my life, and I'm sure you guys will think you'll think of it the same way I do. I'll be honest with you. When we were deployed, one of the worst things was being away from family, and then once we got back, and I was away from all the guys that I was around for 15 months, it was like, damn, I wish I could be back with the guys again. And that's the one thing you'll miss the most. But tell us a little bit about you, Camden. What made you join? What are some questions that you may have? Because the most honest answers you're going to get are right now. The recruiter has nothing to do with right now. We get nothing out of lying to you.
So I'm primarily joining to just try to get a jump start on life, I guess would be the way I'd say it. I kind of grew up rough, and I thought I had it figured out being younger. And a lot of stuff happened the past couple of years. I figure it's better I go through this and make sure I have something I know I'll be secure in as long as I do good on my end. than sit here in the civilian world and struggle to build something up when I can kind of get a fast track as long as I'm doing my part and doing what I'm supposed to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Well,
as well as that, recently getting married, I can take care of my wife now and all that too. So
17 and married. Boy.
Boy.
He's trying to join our club. Don't worry.
Woo! That's why he's got the headband on, because he knows he's going to have to hide the bald head like Tim got. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man. Hey, listen.
Wait, how honest are we supposed to be?
What'd you say?
How are we supposed to be?
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, man. Take care of that family. They always come first. And once you put your family first and you understand that you're the provider for them, and there's going to be tough times. I think Lion actually is a good one to talk to about this kind of stuff. Farrell, you didn't have kids, did you, when you were deployed? You did. I didn't. I think we talked about that. Perkins, did you?
Yeah.
There you go. I didn't have kids. I was living the barracks life, buddy.
Yeah. So every time I heard we're on blackout, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. Is there anything that you have a question about, or anything you can think of? Go for it, buddy. Floor is yours.
So I'm going as a 91 Sierra, working on striker vehicles and whatnot, and I know that's going to be my primary job, but the way the recruiter made it sound is that I'm probably going to just be doing all sorts of mechanics. What exactly does my job entail completely? Because I wanted to be a 91 Bravo, and they didn't have that open. They kind of gave me the runaround, tried to get me to be a combat medic, and I was like, no. Don't do that.
I said, I have a few numbers you can call if you're considering doing that.
But what exactly would my job entail? What would I be doing through my day-to-day?
Go ahead, Lion.
Funny story. I come up as a 91 Echo, right? And that was Allied Trades. I was a welder machinist. They didn't know what the fuck I could do until they needed me to do it. So I was a mechanic more than I was anything. Now, what I will tell you as a Sierra's changed. It's Sierra stays Sierras all the way through until you make first arm, right? But as a Sierra, you're going to be in a motor pool. So you're going to need to know the generator mechanics. You're going to need to know the 91 Bravos. You're going to need to know all of their jobs, the AC mechanics, like all these people that do work in that motor pool. You're going to have to become well-rounded, because at some point in time, when you become an E7 or a staff sergeant for motor pool, you can be put in charge of a motor pool. You're going to be running it. You're going to have to know what they're doing. You got to know what everybody is expecting. You know, what is important to that unit? Is it generators? Is it food service? Is it, you know, and there's a lot of changes in the military right now, even from me being out in the last year and a half. I could go on for days. Tim, you could give me a call and I could talk for hours on this, you know, because a lot of things have changed, and I still currently work on soldiers now. So I'm still working with soldiers every day. Just be well-rounded. Learn all sides of it, because it's only going to benefit you as you go up through the ranks. It's only going to help you, you know, and that's what I did throughout my career, because nobody, like I said, nobody knew what the hell to do with me. You're going to stay busy, real busy, because strikers are a case madam.
That's exactly what I told him. I said,
strikers, if strikers aren't running, it's the end of the world. And yeah, there's going to be late nights. There's going to be a lot of training, you know, but it's going to be fun. Soak it all up. I know you're saying you're being married, you know, you got to be transparent too, right? You're young. I would say your biggest thing with that, you know, one, you know, worry about your career, but also the first thing you need to worry about is obviously your new wife, because she's learning all this at the same time you are.
Yes.
Talk. You know, you're struggling. That has been my biggest thing, is now that I'm soon to be remarried in 2 months, babe. She's sitting right here. Sorry. 2 months. About 2 months. I'm remarried. I forget my days, Tim. Don't laugh at me. You can't even remember to brush your hair, all right?
Touche.
Be transparent and talk to her, as you're going through your career, so she understands. One, it helps her understand. Two, it helps her feel like she's part of the team that you're on. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I took away from that is be a sponge, right? And that's some more advice I would give you, no matter what you go into, right? I think one of the biggest things you can do is learn everything, because you're going to get a lot of your leadership with patches on the right arm. I would imagine maybe Lion could go a little bit more into that than what I can, but I would imagine a lot of the guys in leadership right now have the patch on their right arm, which means that they've been deployed. Sometimes that can be a good. Is it weird now, man, where like it's kind of a mix?
It's hit or miss right now, because you got a lot of your, I guess, deployments now are, yes, we still have people in Iraq. Yes, we still have people in Kuwait, Syria, Jordan, like all these places, right? Qatar, Oman, and strikers, one thing, it's the only thing I guess that's kind of a downfall to being a striker mechanic is you're very limited to bases you can go. I think there's 4 or 5 installations you can go to, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to look back into it. I can't remember, but it's not like a 91 Bravo where you can go anywhere, right? Anywhere that there's equipment in the military, you can go to. But yeah, the combat patches things, like there's, most of the, and that's another thing that I was going to get to. I'll get into it, I guess, later if it comes up, or I'll bring it up later. But the combat patches are getting far and few between, and the people that have them are on the same verge of retirement. And it's funny because my buddy Andy's on here. He's the one that's up here with me. He runs my motor pool. He just texted me and said there's 4 duty stations for strikers. I think it's Lewis. There's one in Texas, one in Georgia, and Colorado, I think, are the only 4, if I'm mistaken. I know Andy will text me again here soon and tell me that I'm wrong, but it's fine. There's 4 bases that he just told me that have striker units in them. So those are your 4 bases that you're going to be able to go to.
Okay.
Yeah, that's different. What other questions do you have? Let me ask you something, because I'm kind of curious about this before you go and ask us something. Yeah, and it just occurred to me that 9/11 caused a lot of people to join and a lot of feelings and stuff like that. Yeah, you, Macaluso, Farrell, were you on? Yeah, I think you were with me. Let me ask you something. Have you been following the news? And if you have, is that something that like worries you, or what's your feelings on that? Staying away from politics, just kind of tell me what you're feeling about that.
So I follow the news a little bit. The reason I say a little bit is I feel like there's a lot of negativity going on in the world, and I'd rather, while I'm here, not be so focused on that and really focus on spending time with people I'm around. But
I love that.
My biggest concern with what's going on in the world right now would be the likelihood of getting deployed, getting out of my AIT, and what could happen, because obviously I'm at the moment not planning on having a full length career out of this. I want to do this and kind of jumpstart life. Now, if that changes, I end up loving it, by all means, I'm going to stay in, right? But right now I'm kind of dipping my little toes in the water, seeing if that's the way I want to go about my life or not. My biggest worry is getting out of my AIT. Am I going to get my duty station and just get shipped out somewhere like Iran or something and just have to deal with that,
So
yeah.
And what to do?
I could take this one because, I mean, like I said, we joined into similar aspects, or I did. It was the height of the Operation Iraqi Freedom. And of course, with the combat MOS, higher chances. But again, it's a roll of dice, depending on who you're attached to, stuff like that. There's always the possibility of deploying. Me personally, I got out of AIT, or well, I did the OSUT. I graduated, and they literally handed me my duty paper saying I was going to Fort Riley. They said, "Don't even bother unpacking your bags. You're deploying." I did 2 weeks of hometown recruiting, which just generally consisted of walking around in uniform and talking to folks if they approached me. We covered that before. But I got to Fort Riley, and they were already in the midst of NTC. So I didn't even get to go and experience that aspect, which from what I've heard, I'm not complaining. But about 3 to 4 weeks after getting to Fort Riley, I was on a plane to Kuwait, and then we were in Iraq. Like it
Nice.
literally transitions that quickly. So yes, there is the possibility with you signing on that dotted line that it can happen immediately, or like I
Not
said,
at all.
got a one buddy. He's in for I think 14 years, and tried to deploy. Volunteered 8 or 9 different times. Was literally hours away from getting on the bus at one time, and they canceled his orders to deploy. So you don't know. You don't know. You have to stay mentally prepared, because it is a realistic thing that could happen. Now, you being a non-combat MOS, what's the chances of you going outside of the wire, on a consistent basis? You want to go ahead and take that one? How many times did you go out with us?
A lot. And when with being with the striker unit, things are going to happen. Things are going to break. It's just like driving your car to the store. Your car could break on the way to the store. That tow truck has to come get you. Well, we're the tow truck. We got to come and get you. So I would say, and I was overseas 6 times. Every deployment I was ever on, I was out of the wire about every other day, if not more.
Yeah.
It's just the fact of the matter. To caveat off of what he was talking about, I joined in 2003. I got to Fort Riley. That was my first duty station. And I got there in May, I think it was April or May. September, I was in the initial push into Iraq. So yeah, I had a little bit of time, but being in a striker unit, like striker units deploy, they still go places.
Oh yeah.
They're the ones that carry the combat troops sometimes into towns and like whatever the case may be. So yeah, you could come out of, depending on how this whole situation is going on right now, you essentially could be living in the same boots as me and your uncle and Tim and Mike, and you could get there. Hey, don't even unpack your shit. Or hey, we're going on a rotation. Like I got to Riley. I went on a rotation to Fort Polk. I was there for I think 3 weeks or 4 weeks or something like that, and go straight out to go on a rotation. Come back from the rotation, packed our stuff, and we were on planes. So or you could go to a unit that's just coming back from a deployment. They're on rotation to deploy all the time, and you'll learn that as you get to your unit. There's going to be you could be on the standby ready, where if something pops off, they take another unit, but you guys are the backup unit in case something fails. Yeah. You could be on you're on the next rotation, or your unit could just be coming back and they're on a year rotation break. Like here at Fort Drum right now, what I can tell you is between 1st and 2nd Brigade, every year, one of them is pushing out to go overseas. So they're on basically a yearly rotation here between 1st Brigade, 2nd Brigade here, and 3rd Brigade down at Fort Polk. So that's it. It's a luck of the draw. You just take it and run with it.
Yeah. You got anything to add to that, Farrell?
I was just saying that I think kind of go piggyback on what Chris was saying. Accept it as it's a possibility. It's a 50-50 shot, dude. Like, so talk to your wife, your parents, talk to your uncle. Like, let everybody know that this is a real aspect of your job. Is that because at the end of it, you're a soldier first, and you're going to be a mechanic second. So, and the guys that drive the vehicles don't take care of them like you do. They break everything. We were absolute hell on our maintenance guys.
Everything.
And we had to be because if we
To the
didn't,
point
they
they
didn't have
have-
anything to
no.
do. Like, if we didn't break stuff, dude, all they did was sit in the tent and play Xbox all day. So we had to give them
Right,
some
we
reason to come out to the motor pool.
We enjoyed a break every once in a while, Mike. Come on, man.
But dude, talk to your wife and tell her, like, hey, this is a serious possibility that I'm going to have to go, and you cannot come with me.
Yeah.
Talk to your team leaders. When you get to your unit or your squad leaders, it's okay to have the fears, man. Talk it out. But it is.
Yeah.
It's a reality. Don't kid yourself that it isn't. That's something that you have to come to terms with, and that's going to help you if it does become a reality. And still, like Chris will probably tell you, the durations are radically different. It could be 30 days, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 3 months, it could be a month on, 2 months off. Except that it's going to probably happen in terms of duration and where it's going to be up to them to figure out. But, the worst thing you can get into is that we're going, we're not going. We're going, we definitely go, oh, we're not going. Like, I heard we're going, I heard we didn't go. Like, that stuff will eat you right up, man. So, like I said, get ready for it, plan on it happening, and it won't mess with you nearly as much.
Yeah, and except that you're going to be nervous. That those nerves that go through your body, because I don't give a damn what anybody in the chat says. I don't care. If you weren't nervous about going to a war zone, there was something wrong with you. Because everybody is. It may not be like I'm nervous because I'm going to be in a firefighter. I'm nervous. You have a family. Those nerves are real. The difference is you put your boots into the sand and you go and you do the job that you signed up for. And it takes men like you and women that we see every day to keep our country free and keep our country the way that we have it now. So I have a lot of respect for you for signing on the dotted line, especially at the age of 17, because there was no way in hell. I'll be honest with you, me at 17, buddy. Nope. Couldn't get me close in that. Right. Nope. No. So the fact that you're thinking of yourself and your family first right now, I think that says a lot about the person you are, and I think you're going to do great things. But you have a jump start on everybody else. One thing I will tell you, and these guys may say something different, but I don't care what they say. Basic training sucks worse than being deployed. I hated basic training. I hated it. But you get through it.
I'll give one more piece of advice is something that got me through all 6 of my tours overseas was the fact that when I was there, I had one goal in mind. One thing I did everything for, and that was for my fucking kids or significant other, whatever the case may be. That was my goal. I just put it in my head that every day I was doing this for my kids. And it got me through. That's probably one of the biggest things in life that pushed me through, even my 22 years of career. I wake up in mornings and struggle to get out of bed, and I'm like, you know what, I'm over this. But every morning when I woke up, I just put it in my head that I did it for my kids, or find that something that you are wanting to push yourself forward for. Because if you don't have that goal or that mindset of I'm doing this for, doing it for my career, but the main thing that I'm doing it for is to supply for my family or my kids. And you're gonna and I'll tell you this too, go to work every day in the mindset of what can I do to make this place better. If you go in there with a piss poor attitude and I hate this, and your career is gonna suck. You're going to absolutely fucking hate your career. And I'm just being dead honest. If you go in there with the mindset of what can I do to make this motor pool better than it was when I got here, you're going to do fine, man. You will do absolutely fucking amazing. But if you go in there with, like I said, with a piss poor attitude, you're going to fucking hate your career.
Real quick, Hartman said I was nervous because of my driver and gunner.
Don't listen to him.
I listened to him. I absolutely listened to him.
Did he fucking make it? Did he fucking make it?
Hey man, he had a couple iffy moments, I'm sure.
I only put the potholes on his side. He already fucking knows it.
That's what I did to Thomas. I drove. He went. We went lights out doing route clearance one night. Genius idea. But I had my MVGs on and dropped his side right into a giant blast crater, buddy. And he looked at me. He goes, "That could have been my legs," and I just laughed. That's the only thing I could do. I was like, "Thank God, man." I'll tell you what. He said he's alive, but it took years off of his life.
You want to be that soldier that your E7s, your platoon leaders, 20 years later are still talking about. Like that's that's always a good goal. That actually kind of goes both ways. So like try to stay on the better side of that.
Not like I did though, because I'm sure Sergeant Smith talks about all the headaches I gave him.
Don't be that. Don't be that.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about mine, so we're just going to
Hey, Farrell.
What Chris just said, man, like that whole, like, I know it sounds super corny, right? Like, don't count the days, make the days count. Like, it's a real thing, dude. Like, focus on getting through your day. You got to be there at 5, be there at freaking 4:45, be ready to go, get into your motor pool, do what you got to do, knock your casts out, like focus on that next thing. Even if sometimes it's as corny as I got to get to lunch, like, dude, make it to lunch, go get a bite to eat, then come back and be like, all right, I just got to make it till 3 or we're going to shut it down. Like sometimes you got to go that like minuscule with it, because some days it's tedious, man. Or you got somebody that's got a hair across their ass, or somebody had a rough night, or you had a rough night, and it's gonna suck. Like, and you're gonna feel trapped, dude. You're gonna feel caged in. It happens to all of us. Like, hit that next goal, hit that next thing. Whatever if you're working on a piece of shit striker, dude, finish that friggin' brake line or whatever you're working on and get it done. Check the box off. Go on to the next thing. Like, it will help. And talk to your wife, dude. When you come home, talk to your wife. Like, talk to her about things are going. Talk to your kids. Like, that communication is going to help you. It's going to set you up for later on down the line, man. It's super important.
Yeah, I think that at the end of the day, I think that's one of the biggest pieces of advice any of us could give, because we're speaking on this because we just now learned it. That talking to each other has helped out so much. These guys, I hadn't seen these guys in 20 years, and it was crazy to me that we were all kind of in the same mindset, feeling isolated, feeling like we were the only ones going through it, and reaching back out to these guys, and it helps tremendously. So what I would tell you is enjoy your time in. Those sucky times are going to suck in the moment, but those are the times that you're going to look back and you're going to go, damn, I miss it. And you will. You'll definitely miss it, because I know I do. I know the 3 other guys here on the screen miss it, and I know the people in the chat right now miss it as well. But then on top of that, man, communication is everything. They're going to teach you not to shut up and keep going, basically, right? And I think that can get ingrained in you a little bit too much. And when you get out, that can cause a lot of problems. And even when you're still in, to be honest with you. So that's definitely the advice that I would give you. So, any other questions you got for us? You have a whole community here, buddy.
I have one other question prepared. So going in, right? I know I'm going to be going to basic and then my AIT and then getting my duty station, getting those 2 weeks to kind of get there, get settled in and then report and then get wherever. What am I to expect as far as going into basic and AIT and all that?
Well, if you
A
ask
shark
him,
attack.
ask him, hell, okay.
I hated it, buddy. I'm 100% honest. I would do Iraq 100 times before I would do basic again. I didn't mind Iraq as much. I hated basic. Now, there are people in here, and they might be on the screen right now, that didn't mind basic whatsoever. I hated it. I hated
I
it.
love it.
But it's different now. Let's
Yeah.
be honest. It's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
You're not, a lot of things. I mean, there's changes in the process. It might be different now. But the shark attacks and all that stuff kind of stopped. But then again, you got Secretary of War come out and he was like, we ain't fucking playing this game no more. Like, we're going back to the real army. You might get there and it'd be like that. But what I can tell you is be resilient. If you're going to go in there, go in and be resilient. If they're screaming at you, you know what? Let them yell. Because I'm telling you right now, look, I was that kid, 19 years old, and you're not going to fucking scream at me like I'm a grown man. I learned that after the first time. You definitely just keep your mouth shut. You do what they say. If they say get the fuck off the bus in 2 seconds and you hold that bag over your head for 62 hours, like, that's what you got to do, But
Arms just shaking.
I didn't even know that my arms could shake like that until I fucking joined the army. Like,
Yeah, I know, right?
shit, man. But just be resilient, man. And you're gonna run into bumps along the way and bruises or whatever, but just be resilient. You get injured, get looked at, get fixed, and get back into the fight. And I can say this just retiring. There's soldiers that get injured and they just want to sit there and be like, oh, I'm screwed. No, fuck that. Do your fucking physical therapy, get yourself right, get back into the fucking fight, and do the job. That's all you got to do, man.
Definitely.
You got to remember, man, they're getting paid to scream at you. It's literally their job. Like, that's what they're doing. They kiss their wife goodbye in the morning, say, they go holler at the recruits, I'll be back in time for lunch. Like, and they do their I love yous, and they get all serious. And they go out and they scream at you guys for 5 hours. Like, it's literally their job. Like, their job is to make you a soldier. Let them make you a soldier. That's that resilience, dude. Take it. They tell you to get down. Like, literally doing what you're told will make your basic experience amazingly easy. Like, you don't fight him, dude. And you'll see it. You'll see the guy next to you make a little face. He'll have a Chris Lyon moment. He'll pop up a little bit. And then you can see what happens to him when he does that.
You get destroyed, all right? You get absolutely fucking destroyed.
I think. Go ahead, Perkins.
Oh, I was just gonna say, man, when I went in, we were the last cycle of like the hardcore, unit, as my drill sergeant said, and they were all tapped out, Sapper Ranger, all that shit. And the unit that started 2 weeks after us got those stress cards. As you were saying, Lions have changed, right? They had these stress cards where if like their drill sergeant yelled at them or cussed at them or something of that sort, they could wave these little cards and be like, I need a timeout, And we joked about it because I found one day and brought it to my drill. It was like, hey, check this out, drill sergeant. You said if we found one, we'd get a day pass. I found one. So he read it out in front of everybody, like said they couldn't yell at you, they couldn't make you do, excessive corrective PT, like they couldn't cuss at you, like all kinds of shit. And I'm like, is this the army we're trying to create now? Because like you said, they need to go back to the older ways, the ways we had it, because you're going to be over in a war zone. What do you think is going to happen if you get stressed out? You're going to wave some little white card and say, oh, please, opposition, don't shoot at me, or, whatever the case may be. I'm stressed at the moment. Let's take a 5-minute tea break. Like, it's not going to happen. You know what you signed up for when you signed on that dotted line, man, like your recruiter stated. It was the same thing told to me, because I told my recruiter, if you try to BS me once, I'm not signing up. He said a lot of it you're going to hate. 90% of the shit that you're going to do, you're going to hate it. But when it comes down to it, the team, the family that you build with your fellow brothers and sisters that you're going to be serving with, the job skills that you gain, and knowing that you're doing a job that encompasses everybody is going to be worth it in the end. Okay. So take that extra push-up set, smoke session that you got and stuff like that. It is meant to break you down and build you up. There's not going to be a moment if you get deployed where you're going to be able to say, hey, I can't handle this. You're going to have to suck it up and push through. A lot of our guys, they got injured. They got sent home. My back got broke 4 months into my deployment. They tried to send me home along with them guys. First Sergeant Yoke flat out pulled me in his office, says, hey, we're sending guys home. You want to go? I said, First Sergeant, all due respect, you send me home before I can, not pull a trigger or put on my gear and do my job to keep people safe, because we've already lost over 60% of our guys, then you're going to have a fight on your hands and you're most definitely going to whoop me. But it's still going to happen because I'm still able to do my job. You get in that mindset of I'm here for this purpose, and you forget everything else. You forget all the other BS aside when you're locked in to do your job, whether it's fixing equipment to maintain it and make sure people can do their job properly, whether it's route clearance like we did that, you're making sure people can transfer from A to B securely, whether it's recon and getting in the intel so people can do their duties safely and perform their mission safely. No matter what it is, all these smaller pieces fall into place, and you have to understand that every job is important regardless of what it is. And the risk that you're signing up for is going to be worth it and pay off in the end. But you have to be mindful, like I said, of yourself, your physical well-being. Now, that don't mean be a sit call ranger, as they call it, okay? Which, that term was highly abused because, it got put on us of every time you go to sit call, whether it was serious or not, oh, you're a sit call ranger, because we're always told drink water, drive on, take a sapper tic tac, the ibuprofens, and do your duties. So that was the mindset in our head. We neglected to pay attention to the serious issues that we had, the back injuries, the head injuries, the, stuff like that. Yeah. Made it a lot harder once we transitioned out of the military to get the recognition of what we should rightfully be recognized for. So don't abuse the medical system, the sick call and stuff like that, but use it. Get stuff documented. If you need to talk to somebody, reach out. Never let your pride beget you, period. I was lost for years. Like he said, a lot of us, we lost touch with each other. I didn't see any of these guys for almost 20 years. I missed every single one of y'all ugly faces, most definitely. But in the past year and a half, talking to these guys, my mentality has been improving, with help of other factors, Yeah.
The other thing too, to get you through basic, man, I don't know if it's email now or letters or both. Communicate, have people write you, dude, send you emails. Like dude, letters from home are awesome. Like seriously, like best part of the day. So I don't know if it's only emails or people can write you, like dialogue, communication, right when you can, but to get letters, dude, just if it's a quick card from your wife or from anybody that just, hey man, just check it in, like hope it's doing good, like keep it up, like we'll see you on, whatever your graduation date is, like the stuff is huge. Like that stuff will pull you right through, man. Like, so if you have people that can keep in touch with you, that want to write to you, like encourage them to do so. Say, hey, this will really help me. If you communicate me, it will help me get through my training to get out there to serve my country. Like it's huge, man. I'm telling you, it's going at it alone is really tough. Having any kind of a support structure, even if it's friends from school or a church or a local. I mean, geez, we had kids from schools write to us that we never even know, but to take a second and send that note back, like, hey, like, thank you so much for the candy. Like, really appreciate you guys. Like, pay attention. If you're really smart, you won't have to go into the army. Like, but like, yeah, dude, communicate, man. Make sure you can get people to write to you and check in with you and see how you're doing and give you notes from home and how things are going. Like it's good. Like it's all good stuff, man. It helps, believe me.
Yeah, Camden, one thing I'll tell you is when you do go to basic training, make sure that we get your address. We'll send you a care package from Operation Intel Veteran Stories filled with It'll have all the good stuff in it. So if you guys want to donate to the
I got it. I got $50 on it right now. I tell you, you've ever got in your life, buddy.
Look at the confused face he's making right now. Like, what the hell did it? We will send you a really good care package to get you through those tough days, buddy.
Don't worry, Tim. I got you.
He's gonna give me a box of jelly donuts and that note.
I think that's a great idea.
Don't
make sure you share them. Make sure you share those donuts with your drill sergeant. He would love those.
Oh, I'm only sending one donut.
I'll hide it in my locker.
Well, listen, guys. One thing that I did want to go over to tonight. In our group chat, we had a guy that said, he was like, "Do you ever struggle with, was it worth it?" And I think that's kind of a loaded question. I think it takes a lot of perspective to kind of answer that, right? Because, staying away from the politics and whether or not we should have went over to Iraq or whatever the case may be, I always think it's your perspective on things. And one of the best perspectives because I asked myself that question. I was telling you guys this. When we left Afghanistan, I questioned, was it all worth it, right? Was it all worth it? And now I start looking at it and I'm like, well, look at all the things that I gained, right? I gained brothers that I never thought in a million years I would have. Was it worth it for me to be there to have somebody else's six too? So in that case, absolutely it was worth it. And I would do it 1,000 times over again if you gave me the same guys. What are your guys' thoughts on that? And since I started at the top last time, Farrell, what are your thoughts on that? Because I kind of want to hear. He always has these really good motivational things to say. I want to hear what you would have to say to that.
Well, dude, that's a question, I've asked myself a ton. And it really depends on how you look at it. Take the political thing out of it at the ground level. It was worth it purely in the amount of lives that I know that we saved.
Yeah.
Without unequivocally, like that many service members came home because of what we did. Like that just is a total fact, and there's no disputing that fact at all. Our trucks ran well because Lyon and his people made it run well, which enabled us to stay out there to do our job. So in that sense, that's why we're always so tight and tied in. But geopolitically, I don't know. The Middle East is always going to be the Middle East. Like you have problems running back thousands and thousands of years. So, but for you, Camden, coming in, make sure your strikers are running. That's what you got to worry about. If you keep the strikers running, the guys are out there on the business end taking care of it. That's a job well done. Like, and that's something that you bring home with you. Absolutely. Like, trying to big picture it, dude. I go right around in circles with it sometimes, and have seen some pretty nasty stuff posted about us on the internet. The global war on terrorism, soldiers and veterans. That there isn't a lot of love for us in some cases, but don't worry about that, because I know the guys came home because of what we did, and that's super important. And I can still look at just about all you guys and still see that we're still doing it, and we're obviously looking fabulous, and most of us are gray, appropriately so. Some of us may not be as gray as they're supposed to be. That's Rich Brown.
Rich Brown, guys.
But yeah, I think for that time in my life and the time I put into it, it was worth it. And there's some negative stuff that comes with that we deal with, that we fight through, that having the group helps, having your buddies helps immensely. But yeah, on the whole, it definitely was, and the opportunity to serve your country is something that can't be taken away. Like, it's a selfless thing to do.
Absolutely. Lyon, what are your thoughts on it?
I knew this question was going to come up, and I seen it and all the stuff. You do what you're doing because of what you believe in, right? Let's first be honest, right?
Yeah.
It's what you believe in. It doesn't fucking matter what anybody else thinks. You did it because of what you believe in. We all joined for different reasons. But we all did our job. Do I think we were over there for nothing? No, because I look at the amount of classes, and that's something that you definitely need to remember is anytime you get the opportunity to go to a class, go to it, right? So if you look at, we're trained to MRT, always hunt the good stuff. I know some of that is new because you guys probably didn't go through that with me just retiring, right? So MRT, Master Resiliency Trainer, you always got to hunt the good stuff. So if I look at it in my perspective, right, because it is my perspective, it's nobody else's. My perspective is we were there for a reason. If you look at how many times, a Sergeant Wright was handing out soccer balls, or we were handing out candy, or we're in these towns and we're talking to these kids, or whatever the case may be. Even when I was in Afghanistan, like we did the same things that we did in Iraq, and a lot of it transferred from that deployment into when we were, from when we were there to what I was into in Afghanistan and Iraq and Ukraine and whatever the case may be. You're there to make a difference for them, a good difference, right? You're there because you're going to have combatants, people that don't want you, that want to kill, whatever the case may be. You're there to make a change in the lives that they're living, right? And like I said, it's my opinion. That's how I feel. Now, do I ever question and be like, well, why the hell are we here? Well, I don't really know. All I know is at my battalion level, my brigade level, that's what I was told I had to do, and I did my job. I didn't worry about anything beyond that. And like Mike was saying, Mr. Fairler, you have a job. That job is to take care of them strikers. I had a job. I was a welder, but I did mechanic work too. I took care of it. I built additional armor for them to help protect them. That was my job. And that was the only thing that I focused on, was doing my job, taking care of what I had to take care of. Anything above that was people at higher levels that had to worry about, not me. So I just worried about me, and I did what I had to do, and I took care of, and we had that. Some of the best times of my life. I wouldn't change it. Almost 22 years later, I would not change anything I ever did.
Same. It will be the best time of your life. I can promise you that. I look back now and I'm like, damn, what I wouldn't give right now to low crawl through a volleyball court and jump into a big ass puddle.
The string and the
yeah, you will do some of the dumbest stuff, but I promise you, it'll be times you'll always remember. How about you, Perkins? I see a lot of people. I seen what you wrote in the chat, but I kind of want you to kind of go through what you said as well.
All right. Well, I mean, I got boom brain, so help me if I don't touch upon all of it. But
we can tell you have boom brain the way that thing's blown back like that.
Listen, it never recovered. I am gonna pull it up just to make sure I kind of touch upon it all, because it was a good conversation that we were having. So yeah, as you said, it was mentioned earlier, and we were discussing it, and this is how the topic came for the evening. And there was a couple of different inputs and perspectives that were brought into it. And I touched upon a little bit of it earlier, is the fact that you signed on the dotted line. At the end of the day, you gave yourself to the country to do a job that you're supposed to be doing. Okay. In the beginning, regardless of what MOS you choose, you're 11 Bravo. You're infantry, period. You go through the same training, combat skills, shooting, all that stuff, the whole 9 yards. There's always the possibility that you're going to see, deployment. So the soldiers that are entering in to the military, like yourself, the ones that just joined, even the ones that have done their part, it's a difficult process, and you have to have a specific mindset for any job that you do in the military. You have to have, as Lion said, you have to have your reason why. Because without a reason why, What the hell are you doing it for? Why are you putting yourself in risk? You know, what goals do you have? You know, you got to ask yourself at that point, like, why am I doing this if you don't already know? My biggest struggle being, combat MOS wasn't so much the aspect of deploying. I had the similar mindset as First Sergeant Yo would always say, don't be scared. You're not paranoid is alive. Okay. Y'all remember him saying that quite often, don't be scared. Scared will get you killed. Paranoid is alive. Yeah, I was paranoid. Okay. I'm not going to lie. I was. And, but my biggest struggle was the first time I got into combat with somebody and had to take that choice. I don't know exactly what I can say now, but you guys know what I mean, right? It was either them or me. Obviously, I won. But I had a hard time dealing with that because in my mind, which really it matters a lot to when you're going, what mindset you go with. If you go into it with hatred in your heart and with wanting to harm somebody, you're going to have a hard time dealing with it when that time comes. Because no matter how prepared you are, when that time comes, whether it's somebody on your side you lose or you have to make that choice upon somebody else, that's hard. It's difficult. And Chaplain D, I was talking with him, and I'm not so much religious, but he's the one that said that to me. He's like, if you don't go into it with hatred in your heart and wanting to do it, then why do you feel guilty for it? Man has been of war and violence for the existence. Okay. We've always been at war at one point or another. It's gonna happen. It's inevitable. So if you choose to serve your country and do your job and not go into it with the mindset of, I want to hurt people, but I want to do this job so I can help things progress. And hopefully one day we come to an end of this shit. But it makes it a lot easier when that moment, or should that moment occur, because you're already in that healing process, that healing mindset of, hey, I came into this to do a job. My job when I was over there was to make sure the route was clear and people could get from A to B safe, civilians and military alike. We handed out candy. We gave toys out. And a lot of misconception, even now, and why we do get a lot of hatred for the war that we were in, or the conflict we were in, is because a lot of people think we were fighting the Iraqis, but we weren't. We were over there. And as long as you have that mindset to help them, because I didn't go over there to want to destroy somebody or their home. I wanted to make sure that they could get from A to B safely, and we battled the insurgents that were causing them hell. That was my job. I didn't want to shoot anybody. I didn't want to fight anybody, but it's a part of it, especially when you're on the front lines, but when the time comes, you cannot hold that shit in. You have to talk about it because it's just going to eat at you. And for years, I mean, even with Chaplain D's help, like I had a struggle with it still, the survivor's guilt, the was it worth it question. And I came to the conclusion, yeah, it was absolutely worth it. They knock on my door tonight and say, hey, we need you to deploy, do what you were trained to do. You might need to give me 15 minutes instead of 5, but I'll do it because I was good at it.
I'll catch a cramp. I can't do it anymore. I'll catch camp.
So it truly is the mindset that you have going into it that helps you, coming out of it. And you can't go into it thinking, I joined to gain, job skills. This isn't going to happen to me because, I mean, look at the way the economy, look at our society is today. Look at what's going on in the world around you. And specific MOS's specific, bases as lines was saying you're gonna deploy if you get one of those places, maybe you'll get lucky and you don't know, but you have to have that mindset of I'm doing this. I have my reason why. Never forget your reason why. That was a very, very good, piece of advice on that is do not ever forget your reason why. You start losing focus, you start losing hope. You remind yourself why you're doing it, even if you have to say it out loud, and that goes with everything in life, not just the military. That's anything in life. If you're wanting to put your mind to it and put your heart to it, remind yourself when you start feeling discouraged, because it's the reasons why that push us forward and help us get through the hard times. And it's the communication, which, I'm hard on communication here, that helps you get through it and gives you the reason why, it's worth it. So yeah, I don't regret a damn thing.
I'll tell you that. I'll tell you this: if you take a look at it a different way, and anything you do in life has to be perspective, right? And it's the way you look at things, because I looked at what was going on there, and he's absolutely right. We were battling the insurgency, not the Iraqi people, to be honest with you. But my number one goal was to make sure the guy to my left, right, and back and front get home safely. And for the most part, that happened. So absolutely, I think it was worth it. And it was some of the worst times of my life, but it was also some of the best times of my life as well that I'll take with me forever. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about tonight? Before I let you guys go.
Well, really quick.
Oh, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I was just going to tell Camden really quick, worrying about the deployment, it's super intense, right? But dude, being able to put that patch on your right shoulder after you've been there and done it, that was for me, was a total highlight, dude. Being able to put that one on my other sleeve, I'm telling you, it sets you apart, bro. And you come back and you'll look and you'll see the ones that have them and the ones that don't. And it's good to be in the club, man. I'm telling you, you just got to take all of it, dude. It's going to come at you. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be absolutely terrifying. It's going to be random acts and nudity in front of other dudes. You just got to and
a whole lot of near beer.
Years later, looking fabulous, graying up, maybe a little overweight. Some of you motherfuckers, some of you not, But it's good, dude. It's all good. Just and let your wife know, and let your kids know, man, because it's gonna be tough on them too. It's a team effort, man, all the way from as soon as you step into your base. It is a team effort until you get done. Whether you do it 3 years, 20 years like Chris did, it's a team effort, man, all the way through. And your team will make or break you. Your soldiers and the home team too, man. So just try to do good by people. And that's your spouse as well, and your kids and the guys you got to serve with. Doing the right thing is super tough sometimes. I know it sounds really preachy, but if you do it, you're gonna do amazing. Believe me, being a good soldier, it's awesome, because you'll see the ones that aren't, and like I said, that's not a crew that you want to be with. Maybe except on the weekends. Saturdays and Sundays, yeah, probably, but not not Monday through Friday.
Some of them.
Yeah, some of them. Go ahead, Lion.
I'll give you one last thing, buddy, and this is what I'm going to tell you is when you're young like you coming in the military, I came in single, married, and had kids in the military. What I'll tell you is, as one of my things as a first sergeant that I always took care of was the soldiers. All of my soldiers won, but it's hard for a soldier that's married. So there's a lot more entailed into that, because now when you get out of basic and AIT, right, you have a spouse that you have to move to wherever you're going. And my buddy Andy texted me, and I was right. There is 4 bases, and they're where I said, so you're talking about you're in Virginia, your wife is there, you get stationed in Colorado or Texas or
Washington State.
Washington State, you have to get her across the country. So you as a married soldier has a little bit more responsibility, not a little bit more, but a lot more responsibility getting your wife, all of your household goods. Like there's so much things that go into that. And what I can tell you is, yeah, I've been out for a year and a half, almost 2 years, whatever the case may be. He has, your uncle has my number. He can hit me up. If you have any questions, one, I still know a lot of people that are pretty sure that I know somebody at every base still. Like you could still probably contact me and I'll be like, oh yeah, my boy is over here or whatever the case may be. But don't, if you get to a point where you don't know and he might not know, please feel free, reach out to me. He has me on Facebook. He reaches out to me. I'm on all social media and my number has not changed. Oh my God. In the
Probably
last 20 years.
Probably still a 785 number.
No, it's a 913. It's Kansas City, buddy. But reach out and ask me, what can I do? What do I have to do? I want to get my wife here, whatever the case may be, to make sure that you guys are taken care of. And like I said, I still have a lot of contacts in the military. I try to keep those contacts because you never know. Just like for your case, if you're having an issue, and it goes for anybody that's on this, any of my past soldiers, and I still have soldiers to this day that contact me. One of my soldiers was here last night that I had before, was here last night hanging out, drinking a couple beers, eating some food, like chilling. Like I keep that contact. Yeah, I can do that now because I'm retired and I ain't got to worry about that. I might take some bullshit, but and one of my really good buddies that I was in with is a warrant officer. He's in here, and he's the one that's telling me, hey, it's apparently MRT isn't even a fucking thing anymore. I didn't even know until he texted me. He's texting me through the whole fucking thing. Yeah, there's this, but
things change like that so quickly.
But it just goes to show that I still have those connections that I can reach out to if anything happens or you need help, man.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely, man. And here's the thing. What I want you to do is when you get back from basic training, I promise you this show is not going anywhere. I want to have you back. Yeah, I want you to be on. I want you to tell us your experience from basic. But then I also, I think it would be a cool perspective to get you on here with somebody new that's joining. I think that would be a full circle thing where you could kind of give your advice. Because here's the thing. We all went to basic training. Well, I went about 20 years ago. Lion went about 35 years ago. But in all actuality, I'd love to have you back on here, man, because I'm excited for you. Believe it or not, some parts of me are jealous of you getting in right now and being able to go through what I know you're about to embark on, and you're about to have the time of your life, man. But to echo what they're telling you, keep the family as number one. That's the biggest piece of advice, because when all else fails, your family's going to have your back. And those kids are going to still be there, and that wife is still going to be there. Put her number one. That's the best piece of advice I could give you. Listen, guys.
Hey, Tim, I think it'd be a good idea, too, is after basic and AIT and he gets to his duty station and kind of gets settled in, bring her in on it, too, because she's a new spouse at that point. Oh, man, that'd be a good perspective right there, buddy.
Yeah, and
before.
Well, she's listening, so now she just heard you.
Yeah, I actually asked her if there was anything
awesome.
She said not at the moment, but if anything comes up, she'd ask me. So that would be pretty neat.
Well, the other thing is the good thing about what you're doing right now is there's people on here that are watching, like places like the Blue Star Mothers and stuff like that. There's different support groups that even are designed around her and what she's going through, to be a part of a group that is going through the same things she's going through, and giving her the tools to be able to be prepared for all that is something great. Anything that you guys need, please tell Perkins. He's going to relay it, or add me. Ask. We have a good community here, and anything we can do to help you out a little bit, get you prepared, get her prepared, and any advice we can give you, we're all on board for, buddy.
All right, I definitely appreciate
And
that.
seriously, thank you for your service.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your service. 3.
I mean, you know, me, right?
All right, guys. I love you guys. Thanks for coming on the show tonight. Even that gray bearded guy down in the middle. I needed one more before we got off. All right, guys. Thanks for being on tonight.
Thanks, Tim. Love you, buddy.
You have a great night. Thank you.
Love you guys. Get these guys on mute here. You know, some of the best advice that that you can give somebody, it was just dropped on somebody who hasn't even went to basic training yet. And it's something that we've been talking about for a while now, reaching out to those soldiers that are on active duty right now, because there are nerves going through their bodies right now, and that they need to be told that that's normal. They've got to be told that, because there's a lot of them that join just because of college and just to get, specific job training and stuff like that. But now all of a sudden this is going on, and it changes things a lot, and it makes you think about the things that you never thought you would do. Yeah, I did see that, Casey. Mike, welcome back, buddy. Haven't seen your name in a while. Chris Anderson. Is that the same Chris Anderson I know? I remember Chris Anderson. Tell me if that's the same guy. I think it was. But no, guys, I think we're doing a good job, and I think we're reaching more people. I can see more and more faces show up in these chats, and it just means the world to me to be able to help the next generation of soldiers and people getting ready to join the military. They're going to have questions. They're going to have problems. And it's just, it's one of those things I think we should do our job in helping set them up for success. Because when they're set up for success, it means the whole system is a lot more successful. If we can make that kind of an impact, I think we're doing great things. You know that word hero to me, and thank you, by the way, I appreciate that. But the word hero to me is meant for people like a Sergeant Wright or a Dennis Leonard, and I'm sorry I mentioned my cousin, but a Brett Whiteman, people like that. I did a job. I kept the guy to my left, right, and 6 alive, and that was my job. But thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Good luck supervising those two. That's going to be a rough one. Listen, guys, that was a really good segment. I thought that it was important. I pray that guy never has to see combat. I hope Camden never has to see combat. I hope all this ends quickly, but I think being prepared for that is our best bet right now. So if you know of anybody that is actively serving the military, definitely have them watch the show. You're going to get to talk to somebody you may not get to ask a question to a veteran the way you do on this channel. Sure, going into your local VFW or your local American Legion or whatever the case may be, you may get those answers. But here on this channel, this channel is as raw as it's going to get. Some of the topics we've went over. These topics are real world topics. These are things that I think are important. And if you guys have any suggestions on what you guys would like to hear as a topic, please let me know. I'm up for suggestions. A lot of the times I just kind of look and see what most people are asking or what most people are having a problem with, and I go with it from there, right? I will tell you this. Your leadership is everything. And this is something that LT said today. He said, you joined for a reason. And if you're having problems with leaving, then, that's a failure in leadership to not get you prepared. And, I can't agree with that. We had some of the best leaders. We got lucky. We got lucky. We had people that had already been there, done that. But not only that, they cared. They listened. That's the biggest thing. Having leadership that listens is huge, because in a place like that, rank doesn't matter. It does not. And I don't care what rank you were. I don't care what rank you are. When you're in the middle of a war zone and shit's going to hell, I don't give a shit how many stripes are on your chest. We need to be communicating. And that same thing goes for afterwards, what we're doing right now. So, listen, guys, I think we got 2 more interviews coming up this week for the nonprofits. I'm looking forward to it. I got to schedule another one as well. That'll be done tomorrow. So hopefully we have 3 this week. Slowly but surely we'll get there. I'm trying my best, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed that show. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Be on the lookout for the 22 nonprofits in 22 days. That'll be coming out this week. I will be putting it out. I usually try to do it around 4:30 if I have a guest. I do have 2 already lined up this week, so be on the lookout for that. I got one on the 11th, which is one of the interviews. So I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight, and I'll see you on the Rally Point next Sunday.